Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, bad boys. What's up, everybody? It's me, E-Man from E-Man's Movie Reviews, and today we're gonna review Bad Boys for Life. What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, bad boys. Amakasam stekam hum hey. I should probably learn the lyrics to that song one day. But anyway, let's do a quick intro. The Bad Boys are back as Mike Lowrey and Marcus Burnett team up to take down a Miami drug cartel. Enough of that, let's get right into the good.
The good.
One of the best things about Bad Boys for Life is going to be the on-screen chemistry between Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. They both were able to pick up exactly where they left off from the previous movie. If I had to compare, I'd probably say that the level of funny is right where Bad Boys 2 left off. When both of them are on screen together, the film just feels that much better. I think some of their best scenes that most people will enjoy will be like the airplane conversation and definitely the spa day situation. Between Martin and Will, I'd have to say that Martin Lawrence clearly shined the most. He owned most of the funny scenes as his character continued to be the voice of reason. In that same sense, he would typically deliver the lines that audiences were probably thinking as well. So his character is definitely much more relatable and grounded, and it just made for a much better comedic experience. Now, I really liked how this movie was able to balance a couple things within its genre and presentation. While director Michael Bay did not direct this movie as he did the previous two Bad Boy movies, directors Adil and Bilal did a good job of maintaining the familiar vibe and tone of the previous movies. From a technical standpoint, Bad Boys for Life displayed a very similar and familiar type of cinematography that has now clearly become the new staple in the Bad Boys franchise. I mean, you've seen this scene before with the lower angle, rotating camera shot as the bad boys are looking up at the sky because, you know, ish just got real. Furthermore, there's a bit of genre mixing that's going on in the movie, and I believe that it was handled appropriately. When it came to the comedic scenes, they didn't go over the top to the point where they just became corny. Although I will say they kind of pushed it a little bit. There were a couple scenes that were kind of like, all right, man, like don't go too far now. Thankfully, we received the recognizable brand of humor that was consistent for the characters in the franchise. In addition to that, this movie didn't shy away from the drama either. I really appreciated the way that this movie was able to find a way to raise the stakes in certain elements in the story that are definitely deeper than any of the previous Bad Boy movies. And then, of course, the action sets in this film were definitely a sight to see. There's absolutely no shortage of that whatsoever. All right, enough of that. Let's get on to the bad.
The bad.
Well, the writing for this movie really wasn't the strongest. Some points of the story either didn't add up or they didn't bring anything substantial to the overall plot. For example, Mike Lowrey has a scene where he has some beef with another police officer. However, there was absolutely no buildup or foundation as to why these two characters would even dislike one another. Either there was a deleted scene that we never got to see, or the writers just wanted to give the characters something to do just for the sake of having a fun scene and some witty banter. But that's not all. Another character in this movie is given, let's just say, quote unquote, a magical background, but it never amounts to meaning anything for the actual character. At most, that magical component only made for some funny jokes for Martin Lawrence to poke fun at. Beyond that, there's this running subplot for Mike Lowrey's character, and it honestly felt completely shoehorned into the plot at the very last minute. There's a minor callback early in the movie that tries to set this new story angle up, but it's pretty flimsy. The final act of Bad Boys for Life kind of feels like a desperation play to give Will Smith a reason to pull out his #1 go-to teary-eyed move. To make matters even worse, his story will seem incredibly too familiar to one of his previous movies as well. Oh yeah, and the repetitive calling to the mantra of bad boys gets really overdone. I mean, whatever you do, do not play any drinking games to this movie, because for as many times as they say the terms bad boys, you might need some medical help after. Actually, come to think of it, they say bad boys as many times in this movie as they probably say the word family in a Fast and Furious movie. So there's your comparison. One other minor thing with this movie was probably with the action scenes that were starting to kind of push the limit. Don't get me wrong, the action in this movie was absolutely entertaining to see most times. However, there were a couple moments that seemed to push the practicality that these movies used to strive for. It just seemed like they wanted to escalate the level of action to the ridiculousness of the Fast and Furious movies. But enough of that, let's get to the reason.
The reason.
Now, Bad Boys for Life might have been 16 years late to the party, but it still managed to be funny and entertaining. It strives to deliver the complete package with some intense action, emotional drama, and hysterical laughs. It's not a perfect film, but it's nevertheless an enjoyable one. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, they still got it and proved that this could be a viable franchise if they decided to do more in the future. Hopefully the very near future and not 16 years later. Now, as far as where does Bad Boys for Life rank among like the other three movies, I'd probably say that Bad Boys for Life is tied with Bad Boys 2, mainly because it's still kind of safe and formulaic. And the first Bad Boys to me is still the best one because it was original, it had these actors at their prime, and it's still hilarious to this day. By the way, you can still check out Bad Boys 1 and 2 on Netflix, in case if you need a refresher. But when it comes to the rating for Bad Boys for Life, I've got to give it a 7 out of 10. One way or another, if you were a fan of the previous Bad Boy movies, then Bad Boys for Life will easily be a fine theatrical experience for you. I'll be very honest with you. My expectations going into this movie was just the hope that it would not suck. I'm just sitting here like, yo, just don't be trash. Please, don't be trash. And thankfully, it wasn't. It was a good time. I laughed. People around me laughed at my screening. So I think that other people will also have a good time with it. So do you plan on checking out Bad Boys for Life? If and when you do go see it, come on back to this video and let me know what you thought about it. I'd also like to hear, how do you rank the Bad Boy trilogy as it is today? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Anyway, thank you all for taking the time to join me today. I always appreciate you watching my videos. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.